I'm ready.
Okay. Chapter 6, Chocolate Fever, which we were in the middle of. Catch that boy. There was more excitement than Henry had ever seen. All kinds of doctors were examining him now, poking and prodding as if he were not a boy but a pincushion. And Dr. Fargo was bounding about the room talking about chocolate fever and new disease and making medical history and things like that. Henry was tired and afraid. He wanted to be left alone. He wanted all the doctors to go away. He wanted to be home. He wanted, in fact, to be just about any place in the world except for this hospital. So he did something very simple, something his heart told him he had to do to survive. He jumped off the examining table and began to run. In a flash, he bolted through the doorway and was running down the long corridor. Behind him, he heard shouts of, "Stop and catch that boy." 2 nurses at the end of the corridor tried to catch him, but Henry was simply too quick. He dodged past them and darted down the stairway. Down, down, down he went, down 3 whole flights of steps and out the main lobby of the hospital. Ahead of him, a guard at the door held out an arm. Running as hard as he could, Henry crashed through his grasp and onto the street. Without pausing to look where he was headed, Henry ran. As he was about to turn the corner, he looked back. There was a whole army of people pursuing him. Doctors in white coats, and look, here's a picture. Zach, can you try to zoom in on the picture? So there's Henry Green. He's only in his underwear, and he's got the chocolate spots all over him, and here's everybody from the hospital chasing him. He must be really scared. There was a whole army of people pursuing him. Doctors in white coats, nurses, guards blowing whistles, policemen waving their arms, and behind them he could see Dr. Fargo. Henry didn't wait anymore. "Legs," he said, "don't fail me now." And with that, he turned the corner and took off down the street. He ran and ran until he had no breath left. And then he ran some more. His legs flashing in the afternoon sun, Henry darted down one street and up another. He had no idea where he was. He had no idea where he was going, but he kept running. People stared at him as he whizzed by. A few even raised their hands as if to stop him or say something, but Henry kept running right past them. After a long while, he couldn't see or hear any of the people running after him. "I must be far enough ahead of them by now," Henry thought. But suddenly, up ahead of the corner, a police car flashed by with its siren screaming. "They must be after me," he thought. "I'm a wanted man." Sick at heart, Henry pushed himself to run faster. His head hurt, his side hurt, his legs hurt, but he kept on running. His lungs hurt, his eyes hurt, even his hair began to hurt, but Henry kept on running. At last, he could run no more. He was finished, done. He had to rest, and to rest he had to hide. Without thinking about it, Henry ran down a large grassy alley that lay between 2 white houses. At the end of the alley, there was a large garage with one door partly open. Henry sneaked in and looked around. There was an automobile parked inside, but not a person in sight. With his last bit of strength, he flopped down on the floor beside the car. "A fine mess you're in now," he thought. "You've run away from a hospital. The police are after you. Your mother must be scared to death with worry, and you have a disease that no one has ever heard of before." The more he thought about his predicament, the sadder Henry became. A lump in his throat, a tear ran down his cheek, a sob escaped from his lips. He was crying, sobbing, really loudly crying. He cried for a few moments because he was so